Yo, yo.
They try to disrespect me when they're online, especially. But everything cool when they check me because I'm so cool and deadly. See, I had to realize slowly that nobody actually knows me. Yeah, man, I got 15 different iPhones, but I am so not phony. They try to disrespect me when they're online, especially. But everything cool when they check me because I'm so cool and deadly. See, I had to realize slowly that nobody actually knows me. Yeah, man, I got 15 different iPhones, but I am so not phony. See them online, they're vexing. They see the shirt I'm flexing. They see my split get larger. They see the girl I'm sexing. I'm a Nigerian eagle. In London, smoking illegal. Now we so not equal. Then when I'm cloning people, anything I do, they like. How do you sleep at night? Is it convenience pride? I switch up the steez on guys. I stand up in the rain, I'm dancing. Then I look at the game, start laughing. It's not a joke though. Got the face in the joke, I would love to see them gasp. Cause they try to disrespect me. When they're online, especially. But everything cool when they check me. Because I'm so cool and deadly. See, I had to realize slowly that nobody actually knows me. Yeah, man, I'm on 15 different iPhones. I am so not phony. I declined some amazing dinners, and I'm still blazing business. I wanted to make some changes. I was not taking pictures. Now look at the labels dying. Nobody else is signing. We know the truth they're hiding. See the next on my walls are shining, and I've already seen my death. We were the last ones left. I saw the whole world get cast. I had to hold my breath. I was a young black youth. The teacher took my suits. They tried to show my roots. They tried to send my loops. Now you have to respect it. I've been around the world, I'm trying to test it. Getting back money that I invested. Don't know about me, get connected. No, I don't do that conscious rap, but man still know about rich invention. Top 5 niggas don't get offended. Murder the beat, no it ain't attempted. I'm mented, and I'm still top 3 selected. They never showed me the guest list. No, we just walked in the exit. Just came back from the Ivers, and look at what we collected. The MBE was rejected. I'm not trying to be accepted. They try to disrespect me when they're online, especially. But everything cool when they check me because I'm so cool and deadly. See, I had to realize slowly that nobody actually knows me. Yeah, man, I got 15 different iPhones, but I am so not phony. They try to disrespect me when they're online, especially. But everything cool when they check me because I'm so cool and deadly. See, I had to realize slowly that nobody actually knows me. Yeah, man, I got 15 different iPhones, but I am so not phony.
Yo, I'm just waking up and I'm kind of sick. So, here goes my best shit. My best try. My best attempt. Check it. I'm feeling like Big Mac, Scott Giotto. And the clap of a thick ass match staccato. Strings, I look at the big mass and wonder if I would be the nigga who spit ash and thunder at the same time. I guess not. I hit Simon up for the beats, twist the left now, sweet now the head. You know, give a dick for a J, so you can't tell me that's not decent. And I ain't finna grub if the rest not eating, that's fam. I'm looking to progress, not feature. But if I'm in the rut, better bet I see you that five. Bills, either wise, I'm chill nigga. He's just a villain in disguise. And he'll till his death's last breath to the sky. But he's still too depressed to accept compromise. So until then, guess you better step aside. Jive niggas. Yo, yo.
Hello, hello. What's up, everybody? How you doing? Yo, yo, welcome back to another Friday community hangout live stream. What's up, Spencer? How you doing? Wait for some other people to show up here. How's everybody's Friday going, huh? Yo, what's up, Andrew? How you doing? Hey, can you guys hear me okay? Let me know about both the mic volume and the music volume. Just let me know if I need to adjust it. What's up, Josh? Where are you coming from? Cool. We'll just give it one more minute here in case some other people come through. Yeah, what's in Kirkland? What should we know about in Kirkland if we ever go visit? Hey, thanks, Spencer. Hey, so is music volume good? Mic good? Oh, wow, Costco. That's awesome. Right on. Let me change up the music here and we'll get started. Let's see. Cool, cool. Okay. A lot of good stuff over in Washington. That's awesome. So today we're talking a little bit. I mean, we're just hanging out, surfing the web, stuff like that. But I wanted to bring up a topic in case anybody has anything else they want to share. Links, strategies, advice, whatever. But I kind of came to a conclusion myself in building up community at Death to Stock because it's pretty hard to communicate at scale, and whether scale for you is 100 people, 1,000 people, 1,000,000 people, getting the communication right is pretty difficult. And so I had to sort of create some of my own filters for understanding how to communicate. I'm not digging this music real quick, so let's change that. Cool. I had to kind of come up with some filters for how to communicate, and so I wrote about this morning and sent it out to everybody. But just on the topic of communication, it's like how do you communicate at scale? How do you hit the right points with the right components of your audience or the right parts of your audience? And so I kind of really break down communication between 3 different audience types. And really, the first one is sort of the most important, which is people who are around because of what your perspective is and what you believe. And so when you're starting a project, like if you're doing something new, your beliefs and how you communicate them is sort of the topmost importance for building an initial audience. And so the early adopters, which is another sort of group that people talk about a lot, in my opinion, the early adopters first and foremost want to see you see the world differently. They want to hear how you are casting a vision for a new future, and why you're different than everything else out there. And so by communicating your beliefs and by focusing on how am I different and what's new about what I'm bringing to the table, I think that's how you initially kind of can gather your audience and start to build a community up. So that's why it's kind of like this first big circle. And the irony in a way is that that grouping sticks around for a long time and may never purchase from you, but they're great for sharing and spreading your message. So they're the best people who can spread your message, but they might not buy from you. And so it's important to just understand, what is this part of your audience? How are you communicating with them? And so anytime I'm sending something to the masses, to someone who's new potentially as well, I want to make sure and ask myself, like, am I saying something that's different? Am I bringing my unique perspective to the table? Am I sharing an opinion that might not jive with everybody, but with a good deal of people, they will care about it, or for the right type of people, they will care about it. So that's sort of the first layer of community building, in my opinion, is really, can you communicate your beliefs effectively to people who might notice what it is that you're doing. So that's sort of step one. And I think if you're building communities, you really have to hone in on, why am I different? And so that's strategy one. It's noisy out there. There's a lot of products. Communicate your beliefs to attract that initial audience who may never buy from you, but will help spread the message. Now, number two, the audience kind of level number two, which is probably only about 10% of your audience, are the people who purchase from you. And those people, once they believe what it is that you're talking about and your vision for the future, if they buy into that, if you've done a good job communicating with them, then they might want to go a step further. And typically, a product extends from your belief system. It extends from your why or your mission, which somebody emailed me and kind of pointed out is like a Simon Sinek thing a bit as well. But you want to kind of cast the vision for the future, share your beliefs, and then have a product that helps people take action on that vision. And so if I'm somebody who is building a community around being environmentally friendly, let's say, my belief system, as I'm spreading the word about my product, as I'm spreading the word about my cause, I need to be able to share that really clearly, and then my product should follow through with helping people take action on that belief system. So if you believe that in the future we need to be completely green and sustainable, if you're worried about our future here on Earth, like someone like Elon Musk is great at communicating his unique belief point. I mean, he just said recently, AI is the biggest threat. It's a bigger threat than nukes. The next step is having a product that assists somebody in taking action with that belief system. So it's the next step forward. It's the next step of buy-in. It's the next step of trust. And so suddenly you've got customers. You've got people purchasing from you because they believe your communication, and so much so that they purchase from you. Let's see, Zach says, also follow through on the promise is a key piece of a reason to believe in the promise. Sure. So taking action yourself is important because they want to see that you're somebody who believes it so much that you're going to take action on it. You're not just talking. So I think that is a critical piece in building trust in your community. But the reason for the post and the reason for the writing is that you want to speak to people differently. And the first thing I was talking about is it got really tough for me at Death to Stock as our audience grew, because you start to have different types of people in your community, and it's really hard to have batch communication for an entire audience. And that's why we're seeing the rise of a lot of kind kind of filtering apps, like something like Intercom, which lets you segment very specifically based on your customer types and the actions they take. Because there's no average user, there's no average customer, there's no average audience member. They all come to the table with unique beliefs, experiences, things they might understand or not understand with your brand. So when we speak with the utility group, we want to make sure it's utility focused. We want to make sure that it's about taking action and about assisting people in taking action. And so that's why when we're speaking with them, it's about, what new features are being released and how is what we're doing now helping them take action next. And the last group, the smallest group of your audience, is like the 1%. And those are the community members. Those are the devoted few who not only believe what you're communicating, but they bought into your product and they're taking action. And because they're so bought in, because they've moved through this series of circles, they want to connect with you. They want to be at your meetups. These are the people that when they hear you're in town, they want to show up and support you and potentially hire you as a consultant. They see you as somebody who is valuable in their life, and sometimes they pay for that. And so, you could even think about this like an artist or like a musician, where they communicate through their music, sort of their unique take on the world, and then eventually they sell their albums, which help people stay motivated or relieve feelings of sadness or whatever it is that the music does for them. And eventually they want to connect. They want to be at the concert. They want to go backstage. And that's why they buy sort of like a VIP package to show up and see that artist or support them in person. So that's most of what I wanted to kind of just at least give an overview on. And it's only because I've had to learn it, I think, the hard way, and it's a pattern that helps me sort of filter when I talk to audiences. And I think this works whether it's 100, 1,000, a million. I think you can follow this framework. So most importantly, when you're starting out, I think people make the mistake of blending in because they don't communicate something different. So I'd say that's sort of the most important element from my perspective, is dashing in a bit of that belief system into all communications if you can. So what have you all found anything around how you communicate with your customers, with your team? I think today's topic is sort of just communication related, and I can jump to some other stuff if we need. Sure. Yeah, commitment is a great commitment's a great word, because at every stage, people need to take a small leap with the promise or the belief system you gave them to buy in a step further. And so they take a risk. There's actually this like beautiful trust fall that needs to happen as you move through these layers. It's scary to go see your favorite artist in person. Like, some people freak out when they go see, an actor or their favorite musician. And so it's a good thing to remember that your audience, your community, they need to take a risk to get through each stage. And each stage, there's progressively a bigger and bigger risk. And some of that comes from a monetary perspective. Some of it comes from potentially having embarrassment of telling your boss that this thing that you purchased didn't work for what you thought it did. And so trust and following through on trust is huge. It's a good point. Thanks, Nika. Yeah, belief system at all times, I'd say, is important. So Josh is asking how I communicate to different audiences instead of batch communication. So I made a massive mistake for a really long time with the company, with the audience, and up until about maybe 6 months ago, 8 months ago, I thought that everybody in our entire community should sort of funnel through the same process and be shown the same ideas and the same products and the same steps to go through. And now I'm seeing things totally different. That was definitely a mistake. Now what I see, Josh, is I create an overarching brand. This is sort of my goal right now, or sort of the intention. I create an overarching brand which communicates our beliefs at a really high level, and that's death of the stock photo, whatever you want to say. It's this idea of living your own way and not following the models of others. And that is my overarching belief. But underneath that are a series of different products, and each one of those products has their own unique kind of belief and their own utility and their own ability to connect. And so while there's an overarching sort of mission, every product should be its own unique little funnel. And so how I communicate to different audiences is I actually try to separate them based on their interests. And so I've been thinking a lot about like interest groups, I'm almost calling it, which is there's an interest group of people who want photos. There's an interest group of people who want to be continually inspired and be continually pushed to finish their projects and launch their projects and be a brave creative to go out on their own. There's another group of people who want these community hangouts. And so what's next for me is developing, sure, always the overarching brand, but each individual kind of segment. And so letting people self-select between a variety of community circles is, in my opinion, how you communicate to different audiences instead of batch communication. And there's a lot of tools now that let you segment and tag and put people in different funnels or whatever. It's, to me, that's less the point than understanding that some people want to take action, some people want to just be around because they dig your communication, some people want to connect, and so that I think is fundamental and important, rather than the tools help you get the strategy done. So if you just use tools without the strategy, I don't think it's going to take you too far. I'm going to see if I can bring up something real quick here for you all, which is another little graph I've just drawn. Aha, okay. Let's see here. Okay, so I'm going to show you guys another. Okay, let me answer this question before I get to. Hey, what's up? How do you stay sustainable in communication and product management? Another great question. So communication, is the root of everything. And communication, if you can't simply communicate what it is that you're trying to do, I almost think that in a way, your product management, your product development follows a similar process of communicating, in that you're trying to just be as simple and effective as possible. And it's really hard to keep things simple and effective. And so they kind of go hand in hand. And when you're releasing something, or you're doing something new, or you're developing a new feature for your product, you should have an ultra simple sort of understanding of what it is you're trying to communicate. And in a way, this is design thinking a bit, because you're trying to communicate something with your user. And so I guess and just maybe to answer your question more clearly, I'm just someone who's better on the communication side. I have a partner in the company, Sean, who might be here. I don't know if he's, shout out to Sean Singh, who is doing a lot of the legwork on product management and product development, but it always starts from simple understanding of what are you trying to say. And so the habit I'd say that I've been doing a lot lately is everything should fit on one page. Like if you're typing a report about an idea for something, or research or your thesis for a new thing you're trying to launch, if it doesn't fit on one page, you haven't simplified your understanding from a communications perspective to execute it as without too much complexity, really. So that's been a habit of mine lately. Keep things simple and effective, and everything on one page. I don't want to see 10-page. Although I'll write 10 pages, I have to cull it down to one. Okay, so I'm gonna show you guys one other thing, which is just another kind of let me see if this pulls up, which is just another sort of idea here, which, to Zach's point about trust falls and your audience, I like to name them funny stuff. So this is Risk Mountain, and it's pretty straightforward. Every time somebody takes an investment of time, an investment of energy, an investment of recommending you to somebody else over email, an investment of sending an email, filling out a form, they've done so taking a risk that they're going to get what you promise, and it's an investment that you need to sort of reward with value. And so, at a simple sense, a company is a promise, and a product is how you over-deliver on that promise. What I mean is, I promise that if you sign up for this email list, I will send you stuff that keeps you motivated and excited. And if I just follow through on that, then you've got an okay product that people won't talk about. But if you over-deliver on expectations, if it's better than anything they expected, they've been rewarded for that investment of their trust and of their attention. And I take that really seriously. I take any step that somebody might take towards spending their time, their precious time. Time is more valuable than money, right? So if someone's paying attention to what it is that you're working on, I take that really seriously. And I just think at every step, it's really simple. Promise, over deliver. Promise, over deliver. So looking at Death of the Stock Photo as an example, if you sign up and you want, we tell you, we promise that we're going to give you free photos. The photos that we produce and the manner that we produce them and the context that we give them to you should be better than anything you would have expected. And so with a minimal investment of putting your email in, we are over-delivering with sort of a massive value in return. And that should just happen at every stage. So Risk Mountain is the more risk that your customer takes with you, the more value they get in return, so long as you are over-delivering at every stage. And so keeping with the theme of having everything be really simple, a company is just a promise, and a product is how you over-deliver the promise. So I'm going to flip between these because I wish I could overlap them right now, but I think you'd start to see that they would overlap really nicely. You could just set one of these right on top of the other. I hope that makes sense. What's up, Floozy Speak? I like the idea of falling and accelerating value. Yeah, I mean, it's just risks. So let's talk about cars for a second. The reason you've seen a BMW commercial at every Super Bowl since you were 5 years old is buying a car is a huge risk. It's a $20,000 risk. It's a $50,000 risk. And so what these brands try to do is sort of give you their promise and showcase themselves over delivering for decades so that you take that one risk fall in purchasing a car. The only thing that's sort of the benefit of the product producer is that we tend to have a bias towards making the right decisions or towards believing we made the right decisions. So we don't like to be told that our decision to purchase something was wrong. And that's why it can go so poorly if somebody buys something and it doesn't work out. Like if you buy something you're excited about and it's broken, if you buy the latest iPhone, or if you buy a new laptop and it felt like something that was going to be this big changing event, and then it's broken, it's a hurtful experience to the customer. Yeah, power of delusion. We're all a bit delusional about these things. So that's all I want to get to today. Unless anybody has any other questions, I want to surf the web a bit, listen to music. I do want to tell you about. I want to tell you about what I'm working on next, which has gone through a few different iterations. The last live stream, I spoke some about it. But I'll give you a quick story and then I'll tell you what is coming next. So I've been obsessed with this clothing company called Lot, and this is a Lot sweatshirt. I have Lot everything. It's one of my favorite brands right now. And one thing they did that was amazing to me was I had purchased cologne and gotten it shipped to my house. I wear it all the time. And not too long ago, they did a video live stream with the creator of the scent that they use in their cologne. And it was streamed in from Russia, and this girl who was an olfactory expert, which is somebody who's an expert about smells, came on, and she spoke about the history of cologne, the history of perfume, how you create scents, where's the industry going. She talked about what cologne and perfume brands she thinks are cool, and like she was talking about like, this scent is really hot right now, but fuck that scent sucks, and here is where I think the industry is going. And purchasing this cologne and then seeing the artist who created that scent informed me in an excited way about her industry was something that was just like a magic experience for me. And I've been thinking about it ever since, because I'm like, I love this brand more. I love this cologne more. I learned a ton. This is just really interesting. And so what I want to start doing starting today is every week I'm going to bring on a different artist to geek out about their industry, to tell us about how they started, what their process is, what they think is cool, what they think is not, and just try to almost have a similar experience on a regular basis where we can see the artist's process. So this week it's me, I'm here chatting. Next week I'll be with another artist here in LA, and I'm not going to tell everybody who it is until they're on. So every week you can expect on Fridays to tune into a live stream with a different artist talking about their process, sharing what they know about the industry, and I think it's going to be really fun. Thanks, Sean. Yeah, and so I don't know if anybody has any questions or comments about that, and then we can get back to just hanging out. But yeah, so starting now on Fridays, more community hangouts like this, Q&A, with a different artist. It could be a font creator. It could be someone who does murals in the city. It could be somebody who's an interior designer or an architect. So just diverse perspectives. Thanks, Pablo. Thanks, April. Yeah, there's something attractive about people geeking out about what they're good at, especially when it's a kind of niche artistic realm, because artists create things that are magic to us and we don't know how they do it. And so I'm going to explore that. Floozy Speak, come in with the technical tracking metrics. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see what's interesting to people, but I think, if you can skip out work for an hour on Fridays, or if you work from home, tuning in, I think it's going to be a cool way to spend some time every week. And in the future, I'd love for people to submit different artists they care about. I've got some people in mind. But with that, let's. Who's seen something cool? Emotional bond, yeah. Who's seen something cool online? Let's. Enough of that. Now it's time just to surf the web. No No agenda. Any link is cool as long as it's safe for work. And let's go back to the days when we surfed the internet with our friends. Chat fuel. Chat fuel. I don't know this. Tell Pablo, if you want to give us a brief idea of what chat fuel is as I bring it up. Build a messenger bot. So I got really into chatbots for a minute, and I was like, this is the future. And I was gonna write. This is a funny story. I was gonna create a course on chatbots like a year ago because I was like, this is epic. And I compiled tons of research, and I had all these books, and then I just stopped. I just didn't have the in me to continue. So let's check this out, though. For those who don't know, chatbots are just general AI that helps you potentially engage with new customers about questions they might have. More famously, they help you book things really easily, which I think they're kind of showing here that if you want to book a course or a workout or something like that, the chatbot assists you. They're assistants. They're like it's like her, but we're 10 years away from that. Pablo's building one for an artist that he's working with. And so also famously, there was a bunch of celebrities who created chatbot versions of themselves. So let's see if I can find that. I think there was a Katy Perry bot at some point. Aha. Rise of celebrity chatbots. Of course, you've got to pay on Forbes. Looks like Persona is another company here. Celebrities in tech. I'm not seeing any particular chatbots from that, though. Yeah, it's interesting. Sorting inquiries. Official celebrity bots, bot lists. Voice metrics. We'll check that out next. Let's see if we can find a... Oh, God, of course there's a Logan Paul chatbot. Okay, let's see if we can use the Katy Perry bot. I'm not sure if it's in work because I'm not totally on Facebook. You have to have Messenger set up, it looks like. Let's see if this works. You guys are making me rejoin Facebook. I've been off since 2012. No, but I have a page. Okay, here we go. So, what should I say? What should I say to Katy Perry's chatbot? Hey, thanks, Zach. Thanks for showing up. I appreciate it. I appreciate the trust and attention. Okay, Katie, what are your philosophical views? This is a great question. Oh, she pitches you on her tour. See, Pablo, this is what you gotta not do. Katie's currently on the Witness tour, so get tickets. Let's check out the photos. Okay, I'll ask her about Kim, and then we'll have something else here. So yeah, you can start to see, though, for people who haven't tried out a chatbot. Yeah, I know, Kate. We somehow surfed the web and ended up with Katy Perry's chatbot. So what about Kim? And then we'll jump to something else here. Yeah, it looks like she just kind of continues to pitch you on her concert, which is kind kind of lame, but it's a good example of what a chatbot can do. And hey, we're getting back to the topic of communication, which is what we've been chatting about today. If you're just joining the stream, I talked through the community circles and Risk Mountain. And this was something else I wanted to show you all, which I'll paste into the chat. Gretchen Rubin has a great quiz about 4 types of people that you can communicate with. Basically, she says that when you're communicating with your team at work, there are 4 types of people that respond to different types of communication. So you've got, one sec, I'm gonna change the music here. Cool. So anyways, Gretchen Rubin, she's got a quiz on here that helps you understand what type you are at work, what type your coworkers might be. She calls it the 4 tendencies. And the 4 tendencies are 4 types of people that respond in different ways to different types of communication. And there are the upholders, which are people that you might work with who are readily available and interested in upholding the rules and the what needs to get done in the organization. They are there to enact what has been laid out for them. Those are the upholders. The questioners will question things at every turn. Anything that comes up, they want to understand the expectations, and if things have changed, they need to sort of question that. The obligers are types of people who always want to fulfill the expectations from others. And so they work really hard, often too hard, to fulfill expectations, even if they're not there. And the rebels are people who resist expectations. When you put an expectation on a rebel, they will not follow through on it. And so when you tell somebody at work that this is how it needs to be done, that's not the right way to approach a rebel. So just with the theme, hey Pablo, thanks so much for being here. Check you next time. Kate, I am so clearly a rebel. It was almost funny when I heard that. If I have any expectation put on me, I simply cannot get things done. And if it's my own expectation I put on myself, I simply cannot get things done. So I'm definitely a rebel. Like when people told me about this, it was like, oh yeah, definitely. It's not always a good trait though, because I have a really hard time. It'd be really hard for me to work, I think, under somebody, unless they understand that things need to be sort of framed in a way that's not placing expectation. I don't work great under pressure. I don't love intense competition. It's just not me. Yeah, it might be tough being, I don't know which one, I don't think anyone's better or worse, but the idea is if you understand this, you might understand better how to communicate with your team. You might understand how to communicate better with your audience, because you can approach people with a different sort of framing. The job is not to change anybody. We're all unique individuals. The harder we try to pretend to be something else, the worse things go, the more struggle there is, the more friction there is in our lives. So take the quiz on that page if you'd like, figure out which one you are, and don't try to change it. You are who you are. You've gotten this far so far in your life. All right, so that's that. Add it to your hot links. Pablo knows what needs to be done here. I am adding now. So for anybody who hasn't seen this, my favorite app right now that I use frequently, oh shoot, just resent that, 1 sec, here we go, is called Arena. And Arena is, let me see if I can go to their homepage. Arena is mind mapping. Let me see if I can go home somehow. Yeah, Arena is just like this incredible, let's go to About. It's like the best way I've ever seen to curate your own thoughts into different categories by pulling inspirations from around the web. So if you all are familiar, yeah, Pinterest for gathering ideas and notes, they have an app. It's totally worth paying for. If you all are familiar with Steal Like an Artist, let's see if I can pull this up. Man, they're let's go back because their about page doesn't do it justice. Evernote meets Pinterest meets Polyvore. That's another good description. It's just great for mind mapping. I have channels. I'll show you real fast. I have hot links, which I keep updated all the time. You guys can join that channel. It's open. I just linked you to it. I have strategy, which is I'll show you guys. I have a lot of private channels, but when I do these artist Friday meetups, I want to be intentional about the space that we use. And I thought this was a great example of setting up a DJ for an artist chat. And so that was just inspiration. So I have that in my strategy channel. Copywriting is my golden basket. I have all of the best copywriting I've ever seen on there. Anytime something really strikes me, I throw it in. Really helps me when I'm copywriting. Caffeine. I have insider knowledge, which I also keep private because it's like stuff that just blows my mind and feels like somebody is like has a remote control for the world. I guess there's some Tim Ferriss quotes in there. That's kind of lame, but you know, some freelance lessons, which I really enjoy. Yeah, just stuff like this. I have one called Interesting Direction, and I only have one block in there, and it's this. So I'll keep exploring here. Yeah, you know what? I don't know. I think there's something about the arena link that seems like you can't share it easily. So let me see if I can share that again. I also think there's something about sharing links in this YouTube chat that, see if that works. I think there's something about YouTube that sort of blocks these. One second, I'm gonna plug in my laptop. Oh, it has to do with YouTube. Pablo, how do you get around sharing links on YouTube? Do I need to pull up a text edit? See, it auto adds that, is what it seems like to me. That little extra thing. One second. Just take the short version of the link. It's good to know for later. So here's some stuff I've kept in hot links. Hot links is just anything that catches my eye. Okay. I'll have to look into that. My apologies regarding the links. This was sort of interesting. It's called Fundrise. It's like an ETF, like a stock ETF, but for real estate. They send you reports regularly on how your investment is being spread across a bunch of different housing construction, which is pretty interesting. Speaking of communication, I thought this was really interesting. This is Kevin Love talking about anxiety in his life publicly, which I thought was really powerful. It's a great piece, worth reading. I think we're in an interesting time right now with how sort of our celebrities and stuff are communicating with us. You've got, LeBron standing up more, which has been awesome. You've got Kevin Love speaking about this. We're kind of in an interesting time of people representing themselves as all powerful, like some people in politics, and then you've got other people sort of revealing some of the darker side of their life, like Kevin Love. So it's just interesting paying attention to this type of stuff. For my writing, I think I try to just keep an ear on the ground for, anything interesting that's sort of happening. I thought this was one sort of trend that's interesting to see. Yeah, see on my end when I paste a link, it does not let me shorten it. So I think maybe it's a manager kind of setting. But anyways, all right. I think that's all for today. Now, next week, like I said, we're going to have a new artist. I'm not going to tell you who it is. Every week, Friday, around 11, probably 11:30. You're going to see a new artist on here. I'll probably be there for a lot of them, helping facilitate. But the idea is to watch an artist, break down the process, speak about their industry, talk about the future, reveal what's interesting about their craft and what you might be able to learn from it as we all kind of go and take those ideas and apply them in our own unique ways to our projects. So maybe it's Beyonce. Let's get Beyonce on here next time. There we go. Okay, Pablo, I'm going to hit you later for how to paste links in. But thanks so much for everybody being on this chat. I appreciate the time and the attention. Let me know what you think by email. I'm excited to bring on the next artist. And that's a great question, Janella. I will email every time that we do this, but it's going to be recurring on Fridays. I probably need to set up a new channel for it, but I just enjoy spending time hanging out and like surfing links and stuff like that too. So plus the music. So excited for the next one. Thanks so much for being here. I will keep the music on for another 5-10 minutes. If probably turn it up a little bit and just hang out. Thanks Gregory. Thanks April, Josh, Janella, Pablo, Dunny Days, Glenn, Floozy Speak, Andrew. You guys all rock. This is gonna be fun. I think it's gonna be a really fun community, and it's something totally new. So I appreciate it, and I'll catch you all later.
They try to disrespect me, when they're online especially. But everything cool when they check me, because I'm so cool and deadly. See, I had to realize slowly that nobody actually knows me. Yeah man, I got 15 different iPhones, but I am so not phony. They try to disrespect me, when they're online especially. But everything cool when they check me, because I'm so cool and deadly. See, I had to realize slowly that nobody actually knows me. Yeah man, I got 15 different iPhones, but I am so not phony. See them online, they're vexing. They see the shirt I'm flexing. They see my split get larger. They see the girl I'm sexing. I'm a Nigerian eagle. In London, smoking illegal. No, we still don't equal. Them when I'm cloning people. Anything I do, they buy. How do you sleep at night? Is it codeine and Sprite? I switch up the steez on guys. I stand up in the rain, I'm dancing. Then I look at the game, start laughing. It's not a joke though. Got the face in a joke, I would love to see them gasp. Cause they try to disrespect me. When they're online especially. But everything cool when they check me. Because I'm so cool and deadly. See, I had to realize slowly that nobody actually knows me. Yeah man, I got 15 different iPhones, but I am so not phony. I'm pissing on this hypocrisy. Every day I'm shitting and I'm pissing on this hypocrisy. Every day I'm shitting and I'm pissing on this hypocrisy. It's that uncontrollable demon they didn't want to see. I declined some amazing dinners, and I'm still blazing Rizzlers. I wanted to make some changes. I was not taking pictures. Now look at the labels dying. Nobody else is signing. We know the truth they're hiding. See the packs on my wall just shining, and I've already seen my death. We were the last ones left. I saw the whole week get gassed. I had to hold my breath. I was a young black youth. The teacher took my suits. They tried to show man roots. They tried to send man loops. Now you have to respect it. I've been around the world, I'm trying to test it. Getting back money that I invested. Don't know about me, get connected. No, I don't do that conscious rapper. Man still know about Rich and Kendrick. Top 5 niggas don't get offended. Murder the beat, no it ain't attempted. I'm meant it, and I'm still top 3 selected. They never showed me the guest list. No, we just walked in the exit. Just came back from the Ivers, and look at what we collected. The MBE got rejected. I'm not trying to be accepted. They try to disrespect me, when they're online especially. But everything cool when they check me, because I'm so cool and deadly. See, I had to realize slowly that nobody actually knows me. Yeah man, I got 15 different iPhones, but I am so not phony. They try to disrespect me, when they're online especially. But everything cool when they check me, because I'm so cool and deadly. See, I had to realize slowly that nobody actually knows me. Yeah man, I got 15 different iPhones, but I am so not phony. And I'm pissing on this hypocrisy. Every day I'm shitting and I'm pissing on this hypocrisy. Every day I'm shitting and I'm pissing on this hypocrisy. It's that uncontrollable demon they didn't want to see. Please. Trapped on the planet of pain and hope the greatest. When you call earth, what I call hell, see what yeah. You feel the pressure, man, I know the pressure. And my wifey is a spice like I'm David Beckham. A lot of pent-up aggression coming out of my section. OBO on me while y'all niggas was playing dress up.